The music world has lost one of its most revered architects. Brian Wilson, the legendary co-founder, composer, and visionary of the Beach Boys, has passed away at the age of 82. The news, confirmed by his family in a deeply emotional statement, has left fans and fellow musicians across the globe heartbroken and reflecting on the profound impact of a man whose melodies defined a generation and reshaped modern music. Although the statement did not disclose a cause of death, the outpouring of grief and gratitude from across the industry is a testament to the vast influence Wilson had over the course of his extraordinary life. Brian Wilson wasn't simply a member of a band. He was the band's pulse, its imagination, and its heart. A musical prodigy born in Hawthorne, California in 1942, Brian displayed an uncanny gift for harmony and arrangement from a young age. Together with his younger brothers Carl and Dennis, cousin Mike Love, and high school friend Jardine, Brian formed the Beach Boys, a group that would go on to embody the golden era of American rock with its signature blend of surf, sunshine, and soul. But while the early songs captured the spirit of California youth, it was Wilson's evolution as a composer and producer that would elevate the group into musical legend. By the mid-1960s, the Beach Boys weren't just topping charts, they were innovating. Wilson's approach to music was unlike anything the industry had seen. With the groundbreaking 1966 album Pet Sounds, he transformed the recording studio into an instrument itself, layering lush harmonies, unconventional instruments, and emotional depth in ways that forever changed how music was made. That album alone has inspired generations of musicians, including Paul McCartney, who famously described God Only Knows as the greatest song ever written. Wilson's genius was not in spectacle, but in sincerity. His ability to turn vulnerability into melody and sadness into sound was unmatched. Following the announcement of his passing, tributes poured in from across the music world. His longtime bandmate and cousin Mike Love called Brian's musical gifts unmatched and said they had, quote, changed the course of music forever. Jardine described him as a humble musical giant, someone whose intellect and creativity were evident early on, but who never craved attention. He only wanted to make music that felt true. He taught the world how to smile, Jardine said. Their words echo what millions around the world have felt for decades. That Brian Wilson was one of a kind, a quiet revolutionary who used harmony to heal, explore, and transcend. The scale of his influence is difficult to overstate. The Beach Boys sold over 100 million records worldwide, earning a place among Rolling Stone's 100 greatest artists of all time. They created hit after hit, from I Get Around and Help Me, Rhonda, to the kaleidoscopic brilliance of Good Vibrations. Brian wasn't just writing chart toppers. He was reshaping the architecture of popular music, experimenting with textures, tempos, and tones to create something timeless. He was not a follower of trends. He was a trailblazer who helped define what rock and pop could be. Fellow artists paid tribute with overwhelming love. Bob Dylan remembered Wilson's genius and said he'd admired him for years. Sir Elton John described him as a true giant whose influence on his own songwriting was immense. Sean Ono Lennon, son of John Lennon and Yoko Ono, called him the American Mozart and wrote, "He was one of a kind, someone from another world." He added that he felt incredibly lucky to have met Wilson and to have experienced his kindness firsthand. Nancy Sinatra shared a photo in moving words, saying Wilson's cherished music would, quote, live forever as he travels through the universe and beyond. From Questlove to Mick Fleetwood, from Gene Simmons to Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, the message was clear. Brian Wilson's music was not just entertainment, it was a cultural and emotional lifeline. But his life was not without struggle. In 1984, Wilson was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, and many close to him later revealed how his battles with mental illness and the long-term effects of psychedelic drugs had taken a toll on his well-being. Still, even through these trials, his creative brilliance continued to shine. In 2024, the world learned that Wilson had been diagnosed with dementia, a revelation that saddened his fans, but also brought renewed appreciation for everything he had given through his art. That same year, tragedy struck again when Wilson's beloved wife Melinda passed away. The couple had been married for 24 years and had adopted 5 children together: Dakota Rose, Daria Rose, Delaney Rose, Dylan, and Dash. Wilson also had 2 daughters, Carney and Wendy, from his first marriage, both of whom followed in their father's musical footsteps. Despite the personal challenges and pain he endured, Wilson's legacy is one of beauty, innovation, and timeless artistry. His music, filled with complex harmonies and raw honesty, reached deep into the human experience. He captured the innocence of youth and the complexities of adulthood. He gave voice to joy, anxiety, longing, and love, all with a quiet power that needed no theatrics. He didn't just write songs. He wrote emotional landscapes that live on in every note, every chorus, and every listener who's ever found comfort in a Beach Boys record. As we remember Brian Wilson, we do not only mourn the man, we celebrate the gift he gave the world. A gift of music that transcended genre, borders, and generations. He wasn't just a Beach Boy. He was a master composer, a groundbreaking producer, a poet of the soul. His melodies helped define an era, and his legacy will echo for all time. Brian Wilson's music will never stop playing, because it lives not just in recordings, but in the hearts of millions. May he rest in peace, and may his harmonies guide us home again and again. Brian Wilson, the legendary co-founder of the Beach Boys, has passed away at 82, leaving behind a legacy that forever changed the landscape of music. Celebrated for his unmatched genius and emotional depth, Wilson's innovative sound shaped pop history and inspired generations. From his iconic harmonies to his vulnerable songwriting, he was more than a musician. He was a pioneer. Though he faced personal struggles, including mental illness and the recent loss of his wife Melinda, Wilson's music remained timeless. He leaves behind a family, millions of fans, and a sound that will never fade.